But I guess my question is, why did they make the hex girls so hot in the first place? So anyway, here I am at the top of Verdugo Peak, the tallest of the mountains in the Verdugo range. Honestly, I don't know why anybody would make a video or hike any of the other mountains in this range, because this one's so great. So I got sent a thumb drive, right? Which is actually a really annoying way to be sent something, because it took me like an hour to find a USB-C adapter. But on this thumb drive was a video, I guess a parallel dimension version of me climbed the Verdugo Peak instead of Mount Tom. They made a video about it and they sent it to me on a thumb drive. I'm not sure exactly how they got it across dimensions or whatever. That's not really what's important about this. What is important is that the other dimensions, Lost Adventurers Society, has a clubhouse. And so naturally, I saw this and was like, oh my God, we need a clubhouse. And so I got fellow society member Vanessa to come with me to the dollar store. Obviously, that's where we're gonna get the materials to build our own clubhouse. And I'm gonna bring you along with me because I haven't made a craft video in a while. And so that's what we're going to do today. We just went to the Dollar Tree.
I look naked.
That's okay.
Okay.
We bought a whole bunch of junk. We bought a little house that might be cheating. Like, I feel like this is already practically what I wanted to make. And so we're just going to paint it and add trees and light up things. And hopefully it looks cool and it
also,
doesn't.
Sorry, this is my video now. We got trees.
Now the first thing I had my assistant do was start painting these dollar store trees green so they resemble trees, and I began working on the base. You know, same base as always. I had to sand down the made in China that they nicely printed on the front of this mini house, and Vanessa got to work digging out the treasure from this block of plaster that was $1. And my first idea for making the radio tower was to use these anchors that are made out of wire, but spoiler alert, they don't actually end up working. Here, you can see I've learned nothing from the pirate ship video. I put on my primer coat way too thick. All of you are going to comment, oh, you should use spray on primer. Yeah, I get it, I know, I just don't want to. And here I am trying to use green stuff to like weld these wires, but they just do not want to stay together. Now I learned in an old video that this shitty super glue will fog up plastic, so I'm using that to fog the windows. Big brain moment. And yes, I did go back and retouch these trees, but not because Vanessa did a bad job, just because it needed an extra coat of paint. Then it was time for everybody's favorite part, painting it brown. That's become a staple of the YouTube channel Craft, and I paint this roof blue, a bit of a heather blue, I'd say, definitely not a navy blue, because navy blue is darker, and I don't think anybody would mistake this for that. After painting the roof, I went back and I did the trim, a little bit of a darker brown. Then I busted out the X-Acto knife and the balsa wood so I could start working on the Lost Adventurers Society crest that would be above the door. Zach Fowler said this makes it look like Luigi's Mansion. It doesn't. It's totally different. This is not Luigi's Mansion. With the super glue dry, I began cutting out the plastic window panes and hot gluing them in. The hot glue actually melted the plastic in the upstairs windows, but you can't really tell, so let's pretend it didn't. And here's where I begin working on the new refined radio tower. I'm going with balsa wood. I know this is not a dollar store supply, but I already had it, and I thought I would like the way that a wooden plank radio tower would look, and I was absolutely correct. I love the way that it looks. I had to throw on some stain, which is just some brown watered down, you know, like a wash. Went back with some gray, painted the front door, I painted the window of the front door, I painted the crest. I also painted a bunch of things to add to the radio tower, just random. And in perhaps an act of violence, I try to cut off the bases of these things, but it turns out you can just like twist them off. It would have saved me a lot of time, but here I am adding the final wash. And then it's time to glue this sucker down. I'm using hot glue here. I had to order this on Amazon because I ran out. If I could do this project again, I would have made the house more straight on, but you know, live and learn. I also glued down the tower. Excellent work here. And then it's time to do some terrain work. That's some grout, some brown paint, some PVA glue. Mix that all up. This is a Boylite hobby time trick, sort of modified with the grout instead of plaster, but I'm actually so pleased with how this turns out. It dries just like this. It looks like a muddy driveway. I couldn't be more pleased with it actually. And then I went and I added some Mod Podge to the ground, sprinkled on some Woodland Scenics fine turf for the grass, then did the Luke Townsend classic move of watered down Mod Podge and some alcohol to really lock all this in, a classic move. Then I did a second coat of grass just to make sure that no brown was showing through. To put the trees in, I used tacky glue. Now, the problem with this is that it did not hold the trees up very well, so I had to build like stilts with wire and stuff to hold them up. You can sort of see that there. And then also, it dries kind of shiny, so if you look really closely, you can see the glue underneath the trees, which is annoying. Here you see me adding some shrubbery, some bushes. This is just some thicker Woodland Scenics turf. And here's a stump that I can put the gem that Vanessa uncovered in her little plaster thing. Look at this. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's it's just a rock, but you know, It's part of the charm. And I really love lavender, so obviously I had to add a couple, lavender plants that I had on deck. And then boom, there you go. The model is finished. Now it's time to clean up the green that was splattered all over the table. Don't want to point fingers, but use that black acrylic from earlier to touch up the edges. Another thing I would do differently if I had to do this again was to make it slanted in the front so that there wasn't a sharp edge. It just makes filming the model way more annoying. Oh my god. Okay, so since the first round where I used the white background, I've changed a couple of things because my coworker and friend Gabe let me borrow his star projector, which shines, this on it, but it looks way better on black, right? So I bought this big black one, and then I cut out of construction paper and cardboard a little fake tree silhouette just to add a little bit of depth in the background. I don't even know if you can see that from where you are. Okay, now let's get ready. This is how I imagine this model being used. Are you ready? This is the intended function. I'd like to be the first one to welcome you to the Lost Adventurers Society Clubhouse. I know what you may be thinking, Zach, it looks an awful lot like your apartment, but I assure you that we are inside the clubhouse that we just spent weeks constructing. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. I haven't made a craft in a while, so I figured, mix it up. I got a couple more hiking adventure ones coming up down the tube. We're going to Pinnacles National Park later in October, so that'll be exciting. Expect a video about that. Yeah, thanks for watching. Oh, wait. I have to show you what the clubhouse looks like at night, because that's where it really thrives. If I die, and this is just my phone, and you found my body, I need you to know that the reason I died is because I decided that I was gonna go down this stupid fucking